Hello and welcome to Structuralism in Minutes. I am Fatima Farzana, Assistant Professor of English from Sri SRNM College, Satpur. And let us discuss what really is structuralism in minutes. This began in France in the 1950s as a part of the linguistic development at the time. It was introduced by the anthropologist Claude Lévi-Strauss in his phenomenal book Structural Anthropology. And Roland Barthes supported his arguments in Mythologies, which was published in 1957. So it began as an offshoot of anthropology, cultural studies, and linguistics, grammar and language studies. And it was influenced in a large part by Ferdinand de Saussure's course in general linguistics. Now these three texts have something in common. What do they deal about? They say that texts must be seen in the context of structures they are a part of, and they cannot stand alone. Now what are these structures? Let us see. Imagine a building without windows and doors. Is it complete? What gives complete meaning to the building? How did you get inside in the first place? And how are you going to come out? Are you trapped? What is the purpose behind windows and doors? Is it simply there to let us in or out? Think on all these. These are the structures of a building. Similarly, meaning lies outside the text. It is not created by the words in the text. Meanings are attributed or given to objects by our mind and what we designate as reality. Spencer's Epithalamium derives complete meaning only after you have understood Greek mythology, Renaissance culture, courtly love, and wedding hymns. So these are the structures that you require to understand the poem Epithalamium. Structuralism moves away from the text, that is epithalamion, and concentrates more on the genre, narratology, and history. What is the ideology of Ferdinand de Saussure? Meanings exist without any reason. There are no connections between words and meanings, and there are no synonyms and antonyms. Isn't this shocking? Yes, of course. Land and parole make up our world. Land is the entire language system, and parole is the individual utterance of each and every person. And culture can often be read like a language. And you have to look at different cultures through the eyes of the people who really follow the culture. For example, Oedipus myth may be shocking to us, but it was entirely normal for Egyptians at the time of Oedipus to marry the conquering queens. They even intermarried between brothers and sisters to maintain the aristocratic blood. Now when I said meanings are arbitrary, did you look at the box on the left-hand side? Yes. Where do you live? A house? Obviously, but what are the different terms? Apartment, hut, villa, bungalow, cottage, or a shelter. Now each word has a different meaning. They are not synonyms. Apartment means you are in a city or probably you have lack of living space. Hut is something which identifies your financial status. Villa, maybe you like to live alone. Bungalow, a solitary person with a romantic mind. Cottage, again financial and with a lot of people together. Shelter, maybe you are an outdoorsy person who likes to explore and are living in the woods at the moment. Who knows? Charles Saunders Peirce or CSPS, who introduced the three types of signs that we are going to see: iconic, indexical, and symbolic. Iconic, the signifier resembles the signified. But first of all, what is the signifier and what is the signified? Well, if you look at a language, it can be called as a sign. And a signifier may be a word, an image, or a sound. And signified is the concept that is referred to by the word, image, or a sound. It is not the meaning because meanings do not exist. And the three types of signs or language are iconic. For example, if you look at a map, you can understand the meaning without going any further. That is iconic. Indexical, cause-effect principle. Where there is fire, there is smoke. And symbolic, social conventions, totems, culture, ritual, festival. Even traffic lights belong to the symbolic conventions. Jean Piaget's genetic epistemology. If you look at the word dog, it comes under the generic word animal. But dog and animal are totally different. They are not the same. Dog is referred to as an object. It is specific, whereas animal is a structure. It is general. These general structures are made up of the idea of wholeness. They have internal coherence, or they have interlinking meanings of their own. The idea of transformation is another part of the structure. This refers to the processing of new material, processing of new words, coined words, terms, phrases, grammar, and finally the idea of self-regulation or isolating one structure from the others. A perceiver and observer creates his structure of reality based on his bias of the objects or his partiality to his objects. The observer creates what he observes, or in short, your reality is what you believe is your reality. It is created by you. Victor Shklovsky's Making Strange. Astronomy, the word indeed is strange. What is this astronomy? Well, if I say I am depressed because of my past failures in my life, this is a normal sentence. Whereas if I say I fall upon the thorns of life, I bleed, this is astronomy. I have taken this line from Shelley's Ode to the West Wind. This is poetic. This is beautiful. This is beyond words. This is literature. This is astronomy, or defamiliarizing the reader to the normal language and using a new vision through technical devices of poetry. Astronomy makes everything strange and at the same time makes everything beautiful. It manifests in the plot and story of novels also. Astronomy is part of the tropes or the literariness, what makes literature literature and imparts a permanent quality to it. Astronomy is autonomous, it can stand on its own, it is expressive, it is connotative, it has symbolic meanings, it stretches language beyond its normal usage. Thank you for watching part 1 of Structuralism. If you like this, go on to the next video and explore what it is all about.